Brady.
This is Levi.
There you go.
And
It wasn't smooth at all.
No.
And today we're going to be going over some geometry basics and...
colons and semicolons.
Good, you remembered.
Yes, I did. I had
Colons
to
and
screw up my
semicolons.
face and do it, though.
Exactly.
Hi, Reedy. How are you? That was pretty crazy before when that guy raided the stream.
Oh, yeah.
No
Yes.
idea what you're talking about.
Hey,
Yeah.
no, guy,
Hey,
what
guys.
about Drumsy?
Drumsy? Yeah, no.
Remember we had like... Oh. Sorry, Reedy, we're not supposed to talk about that.
Well,
That's
you're
really-
not supposed to talk about it.
But we can. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy.
I don't like this arrangement.
But yeah, so they're gonna be the ones covering the topics tonight. We'll be answering questions as we go. Reed, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in chat. Ask them in our Discord.
Do you
Yeah.
mean Drumsy?
Yeah,
mean
we said Drumsy.
Mia Assassin. What's up?
Oh, hey, good to see you
We'll
back.
say his name.
We recognize you from Thursday evening during that
Hmm.
not raid.
Look who's back.
All right, I'll let
Yes,
you guys get
exactly.
started.
Do you hear the sort of
Yeah, I do. I try to tune it out.
homie fatigue in Brendan's voice? He had a long day.
He did have a big day. Guys,
Long
Brendan
day.
had a huge day.
Big day.
You measured the size of the day. It was just... I'm from the stream. Yes, you are me, assassin. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, why?
What did they say?
You teach.
She just said that she's from the stream. I just want to confirm.
I think it's
You
not
sounded
Mia. I
almost
think
like
it's probably
Patrick there.
MIA, but we'll go with Mia.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever, we'll see. Okay, guys. Geometry basics. We're talking 3 main formulas today. Number 1, the distance formula. Ooh. Spooky, shiny. And we're just going to dive right into that. The distance formula is used to find the distance between 2 points on the coordinate plane. So, let's give ourselves a coordinate plane. There's one right there. We have our x. We have our y. Well, let's say we had, here's a point, -1, comma 1. And we're going to say, oh, geez, I don't know, -1, comma, -1. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. And then we're going to go to 4, comma, 11. So that's going to be right around here. 4, comma, 11. And our question is, what, in all that is important, is the distance between these 2 points right here? So there's a formula. And the formula itself it looks complicated. It's really not, and there are easier ways to remember it. But the basic premise of the distance formula is that we can consider this distance a hypotenuse of a right triangle. And the right triangle has the 2 legs of the distance between the x coordinates, which I'm going to label delta x, and the distance between the y coordinates, which I'm going to label delta y. Okay? So you can remember the distance formula. You could have it programmed in your calculator. You also could just draw yourself a little picture between your 2 points. And this looks almost like a 4. I'm going to make sure this is a -1. What would be our delta x and our delta y here? Our 2 x coordinates. We have -1 and +4. So what's the distance between them? How do you usually find the distance between 2 numbers? You find the distance formula. No, you do not. No, you don't have to. You subtract them. Okay, subtracting numbers finds the distance between them. You could subtract either way. I could do 4 minus -1, which is 4 plus 1, which is 5. I could do -1 minus 4, which is -5. Positive and negatives don't matter. It's just the overall number of units. So this is going to be 5. So our delta x is 5. The delta y, same thing. 11 minus -1 is going to give us 12. So you might know this from your Pythagorean triplet knowledge. And if you don't, you got Pythagorean theorem here. A squared plus b squared is c squared, where a and b are the legs. So we have 5 squared plus 12 squared is equal to c squared. So that's 25 plus 144 is equal to c squared. So 169 is equal to c squared. Take the square root of the both sides, and you get c is equal to 13. Incidentally, there is a Pythagorean triplet here. It's a 5, 12, 13 triangle. The distance is 13. So, if we could sum up what we just did as a formula, here's how it might look. We'll start off with Pythagorean theorem, because that is the basis of the distance formula. Okay, next thing. Our a and our b, our 2 legs, are the change in x and the change in y. So I'm going to rewrite this as delta x squared plus delta y squared. And our c, our hypotenuse, represents d, the distance. So I'm going to rewrite this as d squared. We're trying to solve this thing for the distance. Well, taking a look at this, to solve this thing for d, we have to take the square root of both sides. Because right now we have d squared. To get it back to just normal d, take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to get that d is equal to the square root of delta x squared plus delta y squared. Now, if you think about the inputs to the distance formula, you have 2 points. Just like slope, just like midpoint, what you have going for you is an x1, comma y1, and an x2, comma y2. Those are your 2 inputs. So what do we do with these in this formula? Our delta x is the change between the x coordinates, so we subtract these 2 coordinates from each other. So in parentheses, we're going to have x2 minus x1 squared, and then delta y is going to work out the same way. Not delta. y2 minus y1 squared. y2 minus y1 squared. Bam is equal to d, the distance. This is the distance formula. A couple things that matter, a couple things that don't matter. You could do x2 minus x1 or x1 minus x2. It's the difference between getting 5 or negative 5. It doesn't matter because you end up squaring it, which makes it positive 25 either way. The next thing, x first versus y, doesn't matter either. That's like saying a squared plus b squared is the same as b squared plus a squared. It really doesn't matter which one you do. The important thing to remember is that you're subtracting on the inside of these parentheses, and you're adding in between. A squared plus b squared to the square root, that's d. That's the distance formula right there, okay? So I'm going to write that under here, and we're going to move on to our next one. Any questions so far? Mia Assassin, you're from his stream. Or MIA Assassin. Well, if you were really MIA, we would not hear from you. So, you're not that MIA, so it must be Mia, is what I'm thinking. By process of elimination, not substitution. Elimination. Ah. Right, our chat's working for sure, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes, my lord.
Sometimes people just don't want to say anything. Sometimes Levi gets very, very quiet.
Never, my lord.
Yes. And then the room starts smelling very bad.
Bird.
It's not, you're the one that does that.
Yeah, that's definitely on you, Levi.
Yes, my lord.
He looks very guilty.
Apologies, my lord.
That's okay, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
No, my lord. Very good. Extremely good. Everyone's very excited right now. Yes. Okay. So we're going to write that down. Keep it up here for safekeeping. Keep it secret, keep it safe. Keep it secret, keep it safe. D is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1. Is this showing up that well?
It's alright.
The x is just...
Just grab another marker.
I don't like this. I don't like this marker. Nah. Done. Square root. Oh, yeah. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay? Or draw yourself the coordinate plane, label your 2 points, and find manually or visually, whatever you want to call it, those 2 different leg distances. Okay? Forget this formula. You might think pluses and minuses. You get confused by them. What's up, Levi?
Hey.
Hey. 2. It's a slope formula.
Oh. Is this pink not good enough? No, it's not.
Oh. I didn't know it could be this good.
Oh. Yep.
Okay.
That better?
Yes.
You happy?
I'm very happy.
Healthy?
Healthy.
And
As a horse.
Happy, healthy.
as a horse. Are you as a horse?
wise.
be as you were as a horse.
Most things as a horse, yes.
You'd make a
So
good
slope. For whatever reason, we label that with M. Don't ask me why. It's probably Latin, something like that. Rise over run. It's the ratio how high we're going over how far over we're going. Or the change in y in the over the change in x. Or think about what we replace these with in the distance formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is the slope formula. Okay? Things to remember. Y's are on top. X's are on bottom. That is so crucial. Next thing to remember. You can do y1 minus y2 because you're the one that labels the y coordinates y1 and y2 in the first place. You have your first point and you have your second point. So it really doesn't matter which one you pick as long as you choose the matching coordinate first on the left side. y2, if that's on the left, x2 has to be on the left as well. You can't do y2 minus y1 over x1 minus x2. Then you're going to get things flipped around, okay? This is the slope formula right here, so we can use the same coordinates we had before, -1, comma, -1, 4, comma, 11, okay? Pick whichever you want. This is going to be 0.1 for me. This is going to be 0.2. So if I do y2 minus y1, that's going to be 11 minus -1 over m is slope. Yes, it is. M is slope. 4 minus -1. 11 and 4, those are from 0.2. We have those on the far left here. So this is going to be +1, so that's going to be 12. This is also going to be +1, so that's going to be 5. So the slope here is 12/5, or that would be 2.4. Slope formula. Very good. Okay, so that's going to be m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Yes, very good. We're all very excited. I find that if I remind people that we're all excited, they get more excited. I actually have not found that. I haven't found the opposite, though, so I don't know that I'm wrong. I just don't really have any confirmation that I'm right.
Not going to get it from me.
Which is a start. Oh, I know.
You're not incorrect, my lord.
Mia knows that M is slope.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I never had any doubt that Mia didn't know that M was slope. Been doing slope formulas in school. Exactly. Yeah, that's where they teach it to you. Actually, the first time I learned slope formula was also in school, so that's a coincidence.
You two have so much in common.
We have a lot in common. Mia, assassin. I'm also an assassin, but not like a.
Humor.
Yeah, it's a humor session. I got a 33 on an English practice test I took Saturday, and I'm ready to kill it, Sat. Yes, X-Vex. That is a fantastic. What?
You're ready to kill it, Sat, but Sat is past tense. Don't you mean sitting?
Kill it, Sat. Oh, you're right. You're ready to kill it while sitting. Or maybe they're saying the SAT. They just forgot the capitals and the periods.
X-Vex seems confused.
X-Vex, you seem confused. Hey!
Hey, Tall Next.
Hello there, Tall Next.
They also rated us. Thank you,
How are
Tall
you?
Next.
Welcome back. Very good. Okay, we talked about slope. Hi. So X-Vex, Alta Ipsum. Hey, Alta Ipsum. Looking good. X-Vex, 33 is awesome. I really hope you kill it Saturday. You seem like you're ready. Very good. Okay, 3. We're going to be talking about the midpoint formula. The midpoint formula is exactly what it sounds like. It helps you find the point that is right in the middle of two other points. So let's graph this thing out like we usually do. Let's say we got something over here. This is going to be -10, comma, -2. Excellent. Make sure we label our axes, x, comma, y. And then we have over here, we're going to have, you know what, here, we're going to do one right here. And this is going to be, oh geez, I don't know, 8, comma, -2. And then there's going to be one over here, which is going to be, we're going to say that that's 4, comma, 6, something like that. Okay, one thing I didn't mention is that if you're trying to find the distance formula between 2 points that have one coordinate in common, like both of these have the same y value, you don't really need to use the distance formula because it's only their x values that are changing. So you could just simply do 8 minus -10, that's 18 units, that's your distance. It's only when you have changes in both x and y where you really got into distance. X-Vex, that is correct. Be careful with your parentheses though. I know you know this, but it looks like you're taking the first x coordinate and adding it to half of the second x coordinate. And I know that you know what you're thinking, and I know you're thinking it right, but it doesn't matter. Order of operations, you gotta put those x's together first before you divide by 2. Okay, so let's talk about the midpoint first. We're gonna label our points here. We have A, we have B, and we have C. The midpoint of AB, I'm just going to eyeball it. It looks like it's gonna be somewhere right around there, okay? How would you find the midpoints of the numbers -10 and 8? We don't need to do it for the y value because our midpoint is clearly going to have the same y value that these 2 points have. So we know our midpoint at least is going to have -2 as the y coordinate. But the x coordinate is the important one. -10 and 8. How do you find what's right between -10 and 8? If you think about this as like a number line. There's a couple different ways. You could think, well, there are 18 total units between these. 8 minus -10 is positive 18, so that's 18 units. So what's half of that? Well, that's 9 units. 9 units is halfway between them. So if you go 9 units from both sides, What does that get you to? That'd be 8 minus 9, negative 10 plus 9. That gets you to negative 1. So negative 1 is your x-coordinate. But there is an easier way, which is, if you only have two numbers in a list, if you take their average, you will get the number that is directly between those two numbers. So you can think of taking the average of negative 10 and 8, which is just x1 plus x2, add them together, then divide by 2, and you will get the x-coordinate of the midpoint. It's that simple. So that would be positive, or the negative 10 plus 8 would be negative 2. You divide by 2, you get negative 1. So the midpoint formula overall is doing that to the x-coordinates and then doing that to the y-coordinates separately. So you have x1 plus x2 over 2. Your y-coordinates are going to be y1 plus y2 over 2. All right? If we think about the midpoint between A and C, here's... Oh, I don't know why I put it in my pocket. I have a pocket right here. That's what this pocket is for. My frocket. Okay, the midpoint between these 2 points is probably going to be somewhere around here. The fun part of taking the midpoint is that the x's and y's act completely independently of each other. So if you want to find the x-coordinate of their midpoint, you just need to find the x-coordinate, period, between their two midpoints, and that's going to have the same x-coordinate as your midpoint. Same thing with the y-coordinates. Find the y-coordinate that's right between your two y-coordinates, and that midpoint will have both of those coordinates. That's why you do this separately. So if we want to find the midpoint of A and C, we would say, I should probably use some liquid here, but I'm not. Okay, we would say negative 10 plus 4 over 2. That's going to be our new x-coordinate, and then our new y-coordinate is going to be negative 2 plus 6 over 2. So that's going to be, here we go, that's going to be negative 6 over 2 will be negative 3, and then negative 2 plus 6 would be positive 4 over 2 would give us 2. So negative 3 comma 2 is going to be our midpoint of these 2 points. And that is the midpoint formula, okay? If you have a calculator that you can put programs on, which are most calculators except for just like 4-function simple ones, there's plenty of programs you can get where you just plug in 2 points and it'll tell you all of this in one fell swoop. It's fantastic.
And you're allowed to have it on the...
And you are allowed to use it on the test.
Also, for those of you who are new to the stream, maybe from Drumsy or just what have you, you can ask questions at any point.
Yes, please ask us questions. We are here for you. We have a Discord below the viewer, the player. Click on that, follow the link, get yourself signed up. You can ask us questions through that. If you have pictures of questions, that is the far more convenient route to take. So, yeah, you guys can get on that because... as you soon will see, we will have plenty of time for questions, and so we might as well start getting them now, if you want. The last thing we're going to talk about is in relationship to slope. Talking about parallel lines and perpendicular lines.
I can erase if you'd like.
Yes, except for slope. Well, nah, erase all of it, that's fine. You guys can rewind or watch this after we're done. And also, these formulas are not secrets. They're widely available on the internet and math textbooks. What'd you say, Brendan?
Yeah, the interwebs.
Yeah, the old interwebs. You just go on there, order yourself a Polish sausage and a slope formula on the side.
Chicago?
Ah, no, how'd you know?
Nowhere else they just call
They
it
talk
Polish
like that.
sausage.
Polish sauce word. Okay, last thing. There will be no more things after this. This is the end of the things. Parallel and perpendicular lines. On the XY coordinate plane, let's say we have a line. Y is equal to, give me a number.
2.
Brendan, give me another number.
3.
2x plus 3. This is slope-intercept form. First number tells you the slope, second number tells you the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be positive 3, 2, 3. Fantastic, there's a point. And our slope is 2, which means up 2 over 1. If it's just a whole number, put it over 1, and then you could look at it like a fraction and say, oh, we're going up 2. What is the average age that people do their SAT/ACT? I wouldn't know since I live in Canada. Canada.
Green sun.
We like that country. It is a good country. Well... it's mostly juniors that take it. You see some seniors up until December taking it. So we're talking about 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. Because after December, the scores will not get into your college application office in time for them to count. So seniors will stop taking them. Schools in certain states administer these tests in April. It's like a statewide thing where it's all paid for. Your junior year. Yes, April of your junior year. Yes, that is when people take these tests normally. Okay, so slope here would be up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and then down 2 over -1, all that stuff here. Okay, so we get a line. It looks something like this. Okay, thank you. Hey, you're welcome. That one's on the house, but the next one's going to cost you. So if we have a line that's parallel to this line, keep in mind what that means. It means two lines are never going to cross. Parallel lines do not cross because, take a look, they have the same slope, okay? So if you wanted to find an equation of a line that's parallel to this first one, the thing that's going to be different is your y-intercept, but your slope needs to be the same. Parallel lines have the same slope. Bingo, that's pretty much it here, okay? The other thing that might happen is, let me get some labeling here. We're going to say this is line L. We're going to say this is line M. The other thing that you need to know is perpendicular. Two lines that are perpendicular intersect at a 90-degree angle. If you have a perpendicular line, let's say it's something like that. That's perpendicular. You got your right angle right here. There's something very special you do, it's very special, with the slope, which is you take the slope that you had before, which was 2. If it's not a fraction, it's going to be easier if you turn it into a fraction, which is, put it over 1. Fantastic. You do two things to it to create a perpendicular slope. You flip the fraction, and you change the sign, okay? You flip the fraction first. 1/2. Change the sign. I mean the positive or negative. Make the opposite of it. -1/2. This slope here would be -1/2. So if we had a slope of, let's say, -1/7. So right, I'm going to make sure we understand perpendicular line slope manipulations here. We'd flip it, make it -7 over 1, and then we take the opposite, which would become positive. So this is going to turn into +7, or just 7. Okay? Remember, whole numbers can be turned into fractions very easily. Just put it over 1. You got a fraction. Fantastic. So two things. Flip the fraction, change the sign. Flip the fraction, change the sign. Flip the fraction, change the sign. Okay? 3. Flip it, change the sign. -1/3. -2. Flip it, change the sign. +1/2. It's great. Last one. 3/4. Negative. Flip it, change the sign. +4/3. Those will be your perpendicular slopes. Fantastic. Okay, we're now going to kick it freestyle with some Levi giving you semicolons and colons, which is not really freestyle because we have a plan. Freestyle is when you just sort of start doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like off the cuff.
Like what you doing right now? Got it.
They used to call me Freestyle Richter.
They did.
Yep. That was back before the operation. Well, the operation was after the accident.
Right.
They still called me Freestyle in between the operation and the accident. The accident and the operation. But
And that followed closely on the heels of the war, correct?
oh, jeez. Well, we called it the Troubles.
Troubles?
Yeah. Actually, no, that's too specific.
Governmental jargon.
That was actual event. We just called it the conflict. How about that?
Conflict.
I don't like to talk about my conflict days.
Okay. We are doing semicolons and colons, and I say we because you are going to do it too, whether you like it or not. I'm talking to Bird, by the way, because he's going to give me sentences, and I'm going to write them on the board.
Yeah, that'll be kind of fun.
But you might think that you have autonomy here, and you don't. This is very much I'm in charge.
Sure,
Okay?
sure.
So we're going to start with, I'm going to write up independent clause stuff. Get over there. Oh, sorry for hitting the mic. I just do that a lot.
That hurts them in their ears, Levi.
Yes, their ear balls. So we have independent clauses. That's something that we definitely need to write before I say anything else, so I don't misspell these words. Independent clauses. Bird, what do you need to have an independent clause?
Fantastic. 3 things. 1, subject. 2, verb. 3, it needs to be complete idea.
So we have a subject.
And subject does not mean topic. Subject
Plus
means
a
the
verb.
thing or person that's doing the action.
So I run.
Yes, you are the
Is good.
subject.
And it also has to be a complete thought.
Yes.
So it can stand alone by itself.
Yes.
So, Brady, I run is an independent clause, correct?
The simplest it can be.
Is while I run an independent clause?
Well, what's happening while you run? You're not finishing the thought.
Right. So it's not complete?
It's not. It's
Very
not
good.
complete. It's
Now-
got to stand by itself.
We have that out of the way. Nice and easy. So let's go to semicolons and colons. We'll start with semicolons. I think they're easier. Semicolons are only used for one reason on this test. There will be no other reason. They're to separate two independent clauses. So if you don't know what an independent clause is, you're really super cooked on this section of either test. So you need to know that for sure, and that will help you with semicolons. Semicolons are not as common in your everyday lives, but on the test, and therefore they might be a little bit unfamiliar, but they're the easiest punctuation on the test aside from periods, as long as you know independent clauses. So, Brady, let's talk about sentences. Give me a sentence, something short-ish, ideally.
Sure. Brendan has a personal life.
Brendan.
That's what you think.
Is it not personal at all?
has
Well, we're making it less
a
and less personal
life. Yes.
Yeah.
as we talk more about it. I like how we're hyping up his personal life all the time, but we rarely talk about it.
Yeah. Brendan has a
I
personal
like that you
life.
don't
Give
talk
me
about it.
another mildly related independent clause, please.
Okay. Brady does not have a personal life.
I'm going to shorten that to Brady
Doesn't.
doesn't. That might be...
Let's not do that.
Like
Let's not do that.
that's
Not a good
right.
example. We're gonna say
Brady has two.
Brady has two personal lives.
We're implying two personal lives. So, we have two independent clauses here, and we've separated them by a period, which is totally fine. That's very normal. It's just a little bit staccato. So, if you have two independent clauses that are mildly related for whatever reason, then you can separate them with a semicolon.
He's absolutely right.
Semicolon can separate two independent clauses. This is the only use of semicolons
That's
on
it.
the test.
So here's fun.
It's the only one.
Here's fun, is what I just said. Here,
Yes.
right here is fun. What you're watching is fun. If you see two answers, and the only difference is when one of them they use a semicolon and one of them they use a period, they cannot be right. Because they're equivalent, and how could you have two answers where they're both right? That's just not fair. There has to be something wrong with them. So you can eliminate them, because clearly what's being asked for is not the end of an independent clause and the beginning of a new one. Otherwise, a period and a semicolon would both work. Let that sink in. What do you think about that? Thoughts, feelings, concerns, suggestions? Type them in the chat. We'll look at them.
Next, we have colons. Ooh, what do we got here? How would you find the surface area of a right prism?
Fantastic.
A right prism is not exactly specific enough, I think. Right triangular prism, right rectangular prism.
So we'll
Right.
start off with the word right for a second. The fact that it's right, all that means is that the base is perpendicular to the height, okay? So they're never going to get you a prism that's not right, because that would look bizarre. That would look like you had your triangular base, and then it like skewed diagonally, which would just not be cool. So don't worry about that. That's not going to happen. It's always going to be totally upright. And surface area depends on, you have to look at all of your surfaces, okay? They're all going to be geometrical shapes, except for a cylinder. A cylinder has a round lateral area. But normally, you know, if you had something like a... Should we keep doing this, or do you want to continue this?
Actually, let's have tall-necked, clarify what they mean, because we actually don't know.
Is there a particular prism that you're asking about? Because a
Toss
prism...
it in the queue.
Yeah, we can toss in the queue, and then when you let us
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Okay, colons are like semicolons. They're a little bit harder. Not really that much. They just can have more things happen. The one thing that you do need for a colon is an independent clause beforehand. And then you have your colon, and then you can do whatever you want. So that can be another independent clause. So we could have, it doesn't really make sense. So let's say, instead of this, we will follow it up with, Brendan has a personal life, colon, he's very cool. Okay?
Sure.
Regardless of the verity of that statement, they're two independent clauses, and they're related, and what colons do is the first thing sets up the next thing. So that means that the secondary thing might clarify the first thing, it might expand on it, it might be a little part of it. We don't know necessarily, but they're definitely connected. I have never seen a question that, I haven't seen a question in a long time that requires you to decide between a colon and a semicolon. I've seen it on non-official tests, not produced by the ACT or SAT. I've seen them on Kaplan tests and things like that, but they make mistakes. So, Brendan has a personal life. He's very cool. We separate it with a colon. We could feasibly separate it with a semicolon because these two are independent clauses. We have he is here, so we have two independent clauses. This is fine. Now, if we're going to say, well, the question I have is vague. It says, explain how to find the surface area of a right prism. So real quick, that would just be you find the area of all of the faces.
Yeah, see if you can count the faces.
Or let's say surfaces. You're finding the area of the surfaces. Surface area, find the area of the surfaces.
Yeah, triangular prism, it's got 5 surfaces. There are 2 triangles and then 3 rectangles on the inside. Rectangular prism, it has 6 surfaces. Each one of them is a rectangle, and make sure that you pay close attention to the dimensions of each rectangle. There's going to be matching rectangles on opposite sides, but there's going to be 3 pairs. And then with a cylinder, you got 2 circles, and then you have a rectangle that wraps around. So it completely depends on the kind of prism you have. Circular prism is the right name for that, is a cylinder. But what they have in common is that they're all some shape extended into 3-dimensional space. So you take a triangle, and then you extrude it forward, so that wherever you cut along this thing, you're going to get the same cross-sectional shape. These are all going to have that same base area wherever you cut through them.
Yep. Okay, so now I want to show this other part of the colons one, which is the whatever. So it doesn't have to be an independent clause. If we say Brendan has a personal life, and we change this to, let's say, let's see, nothing else. Not that that really means much. That doesn't really help anything. I'm going to think of something that makes more sense, Brendan, that is not a full sentence.
Along with Brendan has a personal life?
Yeah. It's kind of a weird thing to say in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. Brendan has a dog.
Ew.
Yep.
Hope that helps, Tonette.
Brendan has a dog. Also, Tallneck,
Rex.
if you have more specific questions, you can put them in the Discord or linked in the chat if you'd like. But it doesn't have to be specific or vague questions from homework. It can be anything you want. Brendan has a dog. And then we'll say Rex. That's it. This is fine because Rex is whatever. It's not an independent clause. It's not anything super special. It's just one word. As long as it expands on the first thing. And it does. Brendan has a dog, Rex. Now, we could use a comma here, right? Because this would be a non-essential element of the sentence, the appositive. But we decided to use a colon. We could not use a semicolon here because we don't have an independent clause after whatever this punctuation might be. Also, we couldn't use a period. So, that's semicolons and colons. Please let us know if you have any questions. You can have a single word here. You do have to have something. It can't be nothing. It does have to be a thing. Maybe I should change whatever to something. But I assume people won't put colons next to periods because that would look ridiculous, I think. So it could be the jury reached its verdict, guilty. It could be let's see. Ooh, look at that. We just got a cheer.
Oh, nice.
Whoa, thank you, CB
For all the
Turtle.
questions I'm probably not going to ask.
Nice.
Well, thanks.
You should ask the questions. Well, okay, so CB Turtle, is it that you don't want to ask questions or that you're not exactly sure what questions to ask that will help you the most on the test? Because in that case, we will send Brendan to where you live, and he will get the questions out of you no matter what.
We got to figure it out. We just got to get you out of your shell. That's it.
Yeah. I like it.
You got it.
I like it very much. Oh, you are going to... Oh, it was misread. He's going to ask... Or CB Turtle will ask questions. Okay. Got it. Semicolons and colons. Now, after... Brendan, you had one job. At this company, you have exactly one job. No more. No less than one.
Continue.
Brendan's eyes are very scary, so I'm not going to finish
hole.
what I was going to say.
With the shovel you borrowed from me that I will take after you're down there.
Turn that off, Bird. Okay, last thing. So this is the basics. This is the conceptual stuff here. When you see these questions,
yes.
when you see these questions on the tests, either one, ACT or SAT, it doesn't matter. you're for the English section or the reading or the whatever it is on the SAT because they like annoying words. The writing section, the grammar. You always want to look at the answer choices first just to figure out immediately what type of question you have. If you see semicolons and colons in an answer choice, you need to identify where your independent clauses or clause singular are in that sentence where you find yourself. Okay? If you don't do that, you're not looking at the right thing. You shouldn't be looking at a colon and saying, what does my gut say about this colon? That's not a good idea.
Colon. I get it.
Yes. Do not ask your gut what it thinks about the colon because your gut may say something and you don't want the gut to speak. Okay? Yet, you want to do rules, which are independent clause, semicolon, independent clause, or independent clause, colon, whatever. Identify those independent clauses or lack of independent clauses, and then choose your semicolon or colon, not regardless. Not even, you know what's a dumb word? Irregardless. Because
I don't think it's a real word.
It's not a word.
Is it not a real word?
No, it's just what people say.
Yes.
Why do they say that?
We don't need to get into
I just heard too many people. Okay, well, there we go. Semicolons and colons. Does anybody have any questions on that? CB Turtle, do you have any questions on anything? Brendan's personal life, which we talked about it a little bit. You know, we could discuss that. So is it possible for a question to have you decide between semicolon and a colon and the semicolon be correct? I have never seen one on one of the official tests. I've seen one, I think, on a Princeton review practice test, which I don't really respect all that much as the level of testing that you need, or maybe as an institution.
Okay,
anyway,
what he's saying is they suck.
Yes. So
I'll say it for him.
I wouldn't worry about that. Contextually, you want the second idea to expand on the first for colons. Semicolons, they just need to be related. I have never seen an official question make you choose between them. If you are choosing between them, be very, very careful of what comes after whichever piece of punctuation you may choose, because that's probably going to be where you can find your evidence for which one you should choose. Okay? Other questions, CB Turtle, or other people who are not CB Turtle? Unless CB Turtle just has many accounts. That would be interesting. If you had multiple personalities, you were switching between them very quickly, and you were streaming for yourself and asking questions and having conversations in the chat, it'd be interesting.
You okay there, bud?
Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, we are also done with the lecture, whatever it is. So we can open up to any questions. Ideally, Brendan's personal life. I think people misunderstand how little we care about the ACT and SAT and how much we and you should care about the personal life of our dear friend, Brendan. Yeah. I'm going to erase this stuff. Who was it? Tall-necked. If you still have Prism questions, I'm sort of picturing tall-necked as a giraffe with a cylindrical neck and maybe trying to figure out the surface area of his neck.
Maybe roughly like a rectangle.
Yeah.
Unwrapped it.
Yeah. Yes, picturing the surface area of a cylinder. If you unwrap the cylinder, it would become you would have those two circles. So think of a what is it called? Like a can of beans or something, and you use your little can opener thing on the top and the bottom, and then you just cut down the side of the can, and then now you have those two circles, and then you have a rectangle. If you want to know more, text Brendan. His phone number is 7.
And that is all.
It does have a 7 in it.
Does it? Brandon, that's too much.
That's too much info?
Yeah, that's too much info.
Let's see. Questions for stream. We got anything here? Nope. Not since O'Reedy. O'Reedy. The announcements. Ooh, we're going to go live soon. No, we're live right now. I'm just kidding.
Nice laugh there, Bert.
It's a lazy
That was
laugh.
really sad.
It's a
Made me
lazy
unhappy.
laugh. That was one of those laughs that takes people out of the present moment.
Oh,
I
and
think-
puts them where?
It puts them in the past.
In the
Sometimes
past?
people have good pasts. I don't see why that's always a problem, Levi.
You know, technically we only see the past because there is a small period of time between
you're really
when the
philosophical.
thing is happening there
Yeah,
and when
that's
you
science,
see
man.
it. with your eyeballs.
Yes. You can see stars that have long since ceased to exist.
If you couldn't tell, Levi's a hit at parties, so we
I'm
try
a
not
hit.
to take him out.
Yes.
So prisms, we kind of covered that. So I'll erase it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's gone. That's gone.
But thank
Gone.
you, Tallneck. If you have, I think it's weird that
gone.
they had asked you a question that was just find the surface area of a prism, unless they wanted you to go through and list all the prisms.
I think it might have been that dumb, the Common Core thing where they ask more philosophical questions about math.
which is just like you find the area of all the sides, and there it is.
Yeah, they ask
And I
weird
hate
questions of third graders.
Yeah, you know what it is? You're going to have a certain number of rectangles around the middle, and each one of them will have the dimensions of the side length of whatever your base face is and the height. So you're given a general instructions. You have like an n-sided shape. You have two of those shapes areas.
You could just link to, Wikipedia's article on it or something. That's one way to find it.
Anyway,
Or, better yet, link them to Nerdish. Twitch.tv/Nerdish. With a 3 instead of an E.
why haven't we done that? We should just go on Wikipedia and anything that's covered on the SAT and ACT, we should just
Like
link
a-
to us.
Or- on the
What we
bottom.
were talking to Bob about, we could link all the spouses of famous actors
Spice.
to Nerdish.
Oh, all the...
So the spouse of Leo DiCaprio, who does not have a spouse, we'll link it to Nerdish.
He's not married yet?
Not currently.
Well, to us he is.
Not currently.
Kind
Was
of
he
not
before?
currently. I think he's been married a couple of
Okay.
times.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair assumption for most famous actors and actresses.
Yes. Clooney got married pretty late in the game.
Yeah, but I mean, for him, the
For most
game is
people,
just
correct.
extended. Like, he got like world's most attractive man at like 55, and like think about all the people who are like in their 30s. Like, really, that guy?
Do you think he's as charming in real life as the characters he plays in the movies?
Yes.
What if he's
Don't
just like
ruin
a bozo?
Don't ruin it. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I don't know.
It's like, bro, bro, bro. He just,
Also, I sound weird because I'm getting kind of sick.
oh
so
no.
there's that.
Spread
Oh,
us like the
no.
plague.
You
No,
guys
I
are
don't-
trapped
I
in
don't-
this
I don't
box.
Want, I don't like
Where
that
you
at all.
can't get
Box
away
of
from me,
germs.
guys.
He's doing the thing that spreads the disease.
It's called breathing and living. They don't like that.
You
Guys,
and
if you have any
your
questions, let us
miasma.
know. Any of you guys still here from Drumsies who decided to stick around and ask questions? We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, please let us know.
If you guys get another 300 viewers together, we'll have Brendan drink some more milk.
Maybe. I can't breathe through my nose too well, so I'd have to take more breaths in between.
We can give you
yeah.
a breathing tube.
I don't think that would help at
You can
all.
just use the tube to.
Couldn't hurt.
It
No, it
wouldn't
definitely
hurt.
could.
What kind of bear is best?
Wrong.
Wrong. It's The Office. I think
What is it?
aren't brown bears the biggest? Or I think they're bigger than grizzlies.
I think it's
I will.
Beatles,
Well, polar bears for sure, but hold on,
Beatles, Bobcats,
or just bears.
and
Stargate or
Dodgeball.
Battlestar Galactica?
Stealthy Sumo. I remember you from Thursday because
Okay, hold on.
that is
Yeah, Stealthy Sumo followed us, and we made the joke about are they still stealthy? No, polar bear is generally considered the largest bear on Earth, with a close second being the brown bear. So look at that, guys. I'm just walking Wikipedia.
You know, that means-
you should trust us.
Soon, the brown bear will be the biggest bear on Earth.
Oh, because they're gonna. Oh, hey, Storm.
Storm.
Because all of them are just gonna be
Sick
gone.
merch. Thanks, Storm.
Thanks.
We made it ourselves.
I don't know what Coke's going to do for their advertisements if the polar bears aren't really an animal.
Also, are you interested
just
in
like having
Nerdish
a made-up
shirts? You can buy
character.
them, or we can get them for you, and we'll just give them to you or sell them to you at cost because we don't care about making money off of shirts. That's not the business
Speak
model
for
in
yourself.
which we find ourselves.
Well, or maybe
Speak for yourself.
That was the
we
plan the whole
didn't
time.
agree on that.
Yeah.
That's only 1/3 majority, and that is not a
I figured
majority.
we would agree on it though.
We need to put that in the operating agreement. That's me putting my staff right into the bridge.
You
saying,
shall not pass.
You shall not pass.
It's
Exactly.
Gandalf.
Storm.
It's Lord of the Rings.
Storm. Our eyes are up here, and our Discord is down there, and you should put some questions in it.
Yes, you should.
Instead of commenting on our outfits.
On our outfits.
Disrespectful.
No, it's respectful. It's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, but if you guys have any questions, our Discord is linked below. So if you have actual photos of the question, you can post it there. Otherwise, you can ask it in the chat.
He's also sick.
Yeah, I know. So his
Yeah.
shirt is probably legitly
Little contaminated.
Little
sick
who?
merch. Legitly.
Oh gosh.
The markers
the
look like they're part of the shirt. That's cool.
They are until you
Remove
take
them.
one out.
Ooh.
You know, I found another stream that does board similar to this, but it's a much smaller thing,
Good,
and it's
yeah.
a close up of him with a thing. But
So it's like
I've seen
he's the
someone else
brown
do it.
bear, we're the polar bears.
Yeah,
Good.
much bigger. Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
good, good.
They're the lesser known.
Is that how
blueberries.
you define what bear is best? Is just the largest bear?
Yes.
Best is tricky. It's
Exactly.
actually magic. Thank you, Stealthy. Guys, I appreciate the conversation about our merch and our pockets. But do you have questions? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Storm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Tenses. Tenses.
Tenses.
Tennis.
Similar, but not that.
Okay.
Are tenses the fence between the tennis players?
We're going to start with...
No, I was gonna draw a number line.
you were to say swimming. I swim in the present. What?
Use different colors.
Oh, fine.
Thank you.
Oh, fine.
You're okay.
All right. I swim. If you did it in the past, what do you say? You say, I swam. So that's what swim turns into.
Did you swim?
I swam.
Oh, okay.
But, if you're going to do past perfect, and perfect means you're using that verb have. Actually, this would be present perfect. But either way, if you're using the perfect tense, you do not use swam. You don't say, I have swam. You say, I have swum.
Which is so weird sounding.
Jeez, that's a W. I
Yeah.
have swum in my youth.
Wait, it should
I
be.
can't
It should
spell
be a
it.
W.
There we go. Okay. Okay. So you never say I have swam. Okay. It's I have swum. This is called the past participle. It is a version of the word. Now we're going to start with begin. Past tense. Simple past tense is I began.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes. Perfect would be I have begun. So you'll never find yourself saying I begun my test. You'd say I began my test. And similarly, you would not say I have began. You would say I have begun. So if you see begun, do not take begun and point it at be someone. It's dumb. Yeah.
I thought you might have been going there.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate
Yeah. Begun should have a have in front of it. A have or a had. Jonathan had begun his test when he realized he wasn't wearing his lucky hat. Past perfect tense. Great question. The simple answer is perfect tense has the verb have in front of it. Okay? When you use it is another question.
Wait.
What? Past perfect and present perfect. Had, swum, had.
Yeah.
Yes. So, present perfect and past perfect, we say perfect not because it's great, but perfect more means the action has been completed. It is a perfect job. It's all done. Exactly. We got a link there. Okay. So, present perfect and past perfect. The present and the past refer to the tense of the verb have. So, Levi will take care of that. When you use it,
What is this?
present perfect, it all has to do with timeline.
Why?
What is it?
It's an old cartoon, like 2-second clip on repeat for 10 minutes.
What cartoon?
I don't know.
Where's
It's
the
called
marker?
Hassan Chop.
You take my marker?
No.
So here is a timeline, and we're going to show you where all these tenses take place, because your tenses indicate when things happened.
That's just
Okay?
funny.
Right in the middle, we have present. I swim. If you want to go in the future, fantastic. You should go in the future. That would be I will swim. So you add the verb, or not the verb, but you add the word will in front of it. Okay? Simple past tense. I swam. Fantastic. When did you swim? In the past.
So you swim.
Then there's the perfect tense. Okay? The perfect tense implies, we'll start with the present perfect. The present perfect implies that something started in the past but continues up until the present. So it started in the past, it continues up until the present. For instance, ever since I was a young lad, I have swum the butterfly stroke. So I have swum means I started swimming in the past and I'm still swimming it today. Okay?
Let me give this guy a little arrow just to
To indicate that, well, you know.
be clear that it's a directional symbol.
Exactly. Okay? So, present perfect. It starts in past and it continues until the present. Fantastic. Levi has been a bozo for as long as I've known him. Has been. Means he was before and he still is. Okay? Past perfect. Levi's going to take this.
What? Oh yeah. It starts in the extra past and goes to the past. So it's gonna be, yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid, but Bird kind of just does that.
I didn't mean to.
sometime. No, you meant to. You did it on purpose. You said that. You said before the stream, I'm going to draw this thing, and I'm going to deny it once people point it out.
Why would you tell them that? You took my marker again.
I didn't. Here, take that one.
So occasionally we'll teach biology on stream.
Okay, so this is going to be in here-ish is going to be present perfect. And then past perfect is going to be extra past. That's how I like thinking about it. That's how you should like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Past perfect.
You use past perfect when you're talking about two different events that happened in the past, and you want to make sure that it's clear which one happened first. That's the past perfect one.
Yes.
So you're going to see past perfect and past in the same.
I had finished the phone call when I saw Brady. So I had just finished when I saw Brady. So saw Brady is still in past. The future and past only exist in the mind. That's not false, but the present also exists only in the mind. There's really no way to prove that.
Well,
otherwise.
everything you can say exists in the mind.
No.
How are you so sure?
There's also technically future perfect, which is I will have begun or I will have swum.
Yes. By the time I reach 27, I will have begun my graduate studies. I don't know.
So this is
Hope so. We'll see.
the future perfect.
I'm sure my mom would like that. Although I wouldn't. Does it start at the present? I will have done this.
Yes, because I will have finished my homework when then I will have finished my homework
I feel like it starts in the future.
when I will go to school. Well, it starts in the future, but like this is like center of future. You know, it doesn't really matter so much. There's also continuous tense, which is kind of thrown onto this, which has the ing endings.
Is ish considered an ending to a word? Like, for say, nerdish?
Yes, and an ending to a word is a suffix. And green sun, ow.
You alright?
Yeah.
Okay. Got a word for you for a second.
Yeah, I was just reading the word and something jumped up and bit me in the
Say
buttocks.
it's actually an ending.
Well, you have grayish. If something is
Yeah.
kind of
I
like
guess.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an official word. They use it in a TV show.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the qualifier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This probably makes perfect sense, and
You'll never
you
make a
don't
mistake
have any
again.
problems with it.
It's a suffix-ish. That's good.
That's
You know
a
what's a
good
fun
point.
suffix? Adding word, W-A-R-D, to the end of things, which I've been doing since I was a senior in high school. So, like, Ed is short for Edward. So you can take other names and just make them the long version of them. So Levi is short for Leave-word, and Brendan is short for Brentword. And let's see, we got Green Sun-word, we have Storm-word, we've got, what else we got?
We got stealthy soon word.
Stealthy Soom-word. Yeah, would be right. Yeah.
What is Edward short for?
Edward-word.
Got it.
Yes, I thought about that. Very good. Eduardo. Nah, see,
Edward word.
it's Edward word. Yeah,
Edward word.
it's Edward word.
Your word. Word.
Yeah, or word.
Yes. No dish word.
Yeah. Nerd word.
Brendan's hugging his computer right now. No other explanation for it.
I'm trying to listen to something very quietly.
Shh, quieter. Brentword
Whisper sweet nothings in the ear of your computer,
is
Brendan.
listening to his laptop word.
My friend sent me a song and I said I'll listen to it later. He said, "Nah, play it on stream. Trust." And I'm like,
That's a lot to ask.
Can't play stuff on stream.
How much do you trust that friend?
Quite a
Okay.
bit, to be
Do you have
honest.
any other questions?
I
It's
just-
just Brady and me up here, and we can talk about Brendan. He won't know.
That's not true.
So ask questions about Brandon's personal life. I had troubles with tenses in the past, but now they make perfect sense. Oh
Hey.
my gosh.
yeah.
As in, like, the perfect
Storm.
tense?
Right.
Explain the joke to everyone. You gotta just show
The
appreciation.
job of a psychiatrist is to put people to sleep, appropriate, and wake up. True or false? Well,
Red pill, blue pill.
the grammar of that sentence
Is
is wrong. You put commas around is to put people back to sleep. So that's removable. You're saying that
Yeah.
that's not essential.
that doesn't work. You should just take out commas and the sentence works grammatically.
So your sentence would be the job of a psychiatrist who are beginning to wake up. So that is not a applicable question, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I finished grind.
Grade 9. Finish grade 9.
Got it. We finished grade 9.
We did, yeah. We
Yep.
did, very much so.
It sounds like a very European thing to say.
Grade 9? It's just not an American thing to say. Some might say it's un-American.
It's a great song.
The job of a psychiatrist is to put people back to sleep. Actually, not even that. I would say by having back to sleep there, you make who are beginning to wake up a little ambiguous with regards to its antecedents. So I would say to put people who are beginning to wake up back to sleep. So the only reason to put 2 commas around something is if it's not essential. Not necessarily. It's just there are 4 uses of commas. Storm, do you know the 4 uses of commas? We've definitely talked about them.
If you don't, we can talk about them now.
Yes, we will. We will talk about them deep into the night.
Yes.
A little bit deeper into the night. Softly.
Storm, the hard part about commas is that they all just look like commas. They will not tell you what exactly they're doing, and they're used for different things.
Yeah.
So you might have 3 commas in a sentence, and it might be a specific pair that go together, and you don't know, just by looking at them, that it's those 2 until you read the sentence and understand what it's saying, understand what the context is.
You comma when you pause. Interesting. Ah, look at that. The actual job of a psychiatrist is to put people back into commas. And the job of a medical doctor is to take them out of commas. Right?
Coma.
Right? Ow! Dang it.
Thank you.
Sorry, we don't get into violence.
Well,
Except if it's slapping Levi's forearm. That's all.
do as Bird does, except when he hits me.
Any tips for finding answers during the reading section? We got a couple
They're
tips.
generally right there.
That's helpful. Yes. Well, general tip here is that there are words in the question that you want to look at where those words came up in the passage and read around that area. Okay, it's a very direct link of question words to passage words. Read around there, find the evidence
It's
that backs
always
up.
going to be right around
answer.
here.
Yeah. Do you have problems with timing? Do you have problems with accuracy? Do you have problems with both? I mean,
Prove 3 wrong helps.
let us into your shell a little bit, CP Turtle.
That's
Yeah.
twice, Brady. Once more and you're out.
I'm out, or am I in?
No, once more and you're done.
No, you're fine.
Dunzo.
Garbanzo beans.
And that's strike 3. Get off the street.
Are
That's
radical equations of the ACT? Yes, they are.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yes. Ooh, let's talk about that. So if you have 2 rad x minus 1 equals, let's
Hey,
say...
no. Guys.
What?
Finish CB
The-
Turtle's question. Put that in the queue.
I just can never find the answer.
Accuracy. So proving 3 wrong is one way to do that. There's a number of other ways to approach that.
Yeah, CP Turtle.
Hey.
Wait, he says he can wait.
Okay,
Like you just did it. Okay.
CB Turtle, dude.
Answer the question.
Okay, with these reading questions, if you are having trouble finding them, we're guessing that you're doing the ACT. Let us know if that's not the case. Storm, radical equations are cool. Equations are actually not too hard to solve. There are like 4 or 5 things to do every time. Anyway, for finding answers, if you are having trouble finding them on the ACT, it's because a lot of the questions don't give you the place to find them. If they give you the line numbers, there you go. That's where you're going to find them. Now, if it's hard for you to parse through what's going on and understand things, that's, the next step. But it's finding the answer choices. If you are reading the passage first, if reading quickly is not an issue for you and you are able to read through the passage, then go to the questions. What I would recommend is, regardless of how you read the passage, there's option A or option B, and then option C. You're doing option A, which maybe is just reading the passage, going to the questions, and then having trouble finding the answers in the passage. Don't do option A if you can't find answer choice or where it would be. What is the difference between the ACT and the SAT? We'll put it in here. Is this a Canadian person?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
We will get to it. Maybe we'll do it before that one. That's how Canadians talk. So.
Proves wrong.
Yeah. Change my mind.
There it is. Get the talking about it.
The option B is what I like to do, which is skim the passage, but you don't even necessarily have to do that if you are a quick enough reader. Identify where things are happening. Circle things in the passage. When you are reading, regardless of what level of understanding, you should be creating a mental map of where things are happening. Not necessarily the most detailed vision of what's going on, but the narrator talks about this here, and then the past here, and then the future perfect here, and then whatever it might be. Figure out where those things are. That will help you when you get to the questions, because the questions are asking you things that you might be able to think, well, this seems to be a childhood, it's asking about childhood memories. Oh, that's in the past, so that was in this area. So you can get there a little bit more quickly. That's, I think, one of the toughest parts on the ACT reading. One of the differences. actually, is that the SAT asks harder questions on the reading section, but you have more time. The ACT, you don't have a lot of time. The questions aren't necessarily that complicated. So one of the hardest things is timing and is finding the answer choices. And that's a skill that you actually do need to learn in life, is being able to parse through a lot of information quickly to find what you want, and then doing whatever analysis is necessary after that. If you'd like more specific stuff or proving 3 wrong, we do have an ACT down below if you are on Twitch. So for those of you who are not, we have the ACT linked in the description. We are working on ACT 1572-CPRE, but there are links everywhere. Go find it. You can look at questions there, maybe read through a passage, look at some questions, see which ones you want us to go over. We do have another half hour until we finish the stream, where you can go over it, later tonight or tomorrow, and then ask us questions the following or tomorrow. Let's go on to this if nobody has any issues with that. Radical equations. It's when you have radicals. So nothing has changed with regards to the equation. If you have a single equation and a single variable, your job is to get, we're going to use x alone. Always get x alone. That is your goal. There are some issues and there are some obstacles in the way of getting x alone, generally. If you have x plus 1, well, there you go. If you have x equals 1, you're done. Great. Spelling is for those who wish to get the spells right.
Just
That's right. Canadians are so strange.
they're not Canadian.
Oh.
Just keep going.
Yep. Just keep going. Just swimming along. Here, we're trying to get to here, where x is alone. If you have 2x, you want to get the x alone, so you divide by 2, you get 1/2. If you have an issue with that, anyway, here we go. We want to get this x alone, but there are a couple issues. We have a radical. You cannot just get rid of a radical because you feel like it. You have to do the opposite operation. That's the whole point. And if you have 2x equals 1, you have to divide by 2 because division is the opposite of 2 times x. So here, we want to get rid of the radical. We can't do that first because we are doing opposite order of operations. We need to get rid of the 2 before we get rid of the radical, which means, let's start with the yellow. We're going to divide by 2 on both sides. So we get radical x minus 1 equals 9. Maybe you can figure this out in your head. I don't really care. You need to practice recognizing that you have a radical, and now it's the only thing on this side. The way to undo the square root of something is to square that something. You square both sides, and it will take care of itself. If we're squaring this, and we're squaring this, I did 9 for a reason, but it was the wrong reason. We're going to get that this radical and the square cancel out. You just get x minus 1, which is very pretty. And 9 squared is 81, which is also mildly pretty. And then we subtract 1. No, we don't. We add 1. Psych. And we get x equals 82. This is one of the obstacles. It's definitely an obstacle that you may not see all that often in whatever class you do in high school on math leading up into the SAT or ACT. And that's why it stumps people, because they freeze and they say, I actually don't know how to get rid of a radical I haven't done in a while. You do the opposite operation, always. But order of operations matters. You want to do opposite order of operations when you are undoing these operations to isolate x. Please let me know if you have any questions on that. Banju, keep saying silly things. I like them.
All right.
Keep saying those things.
I can do SAT, ACT.
Cool. You want to do SAT, ACT? We can also do, as I erase this, we can do other things with regards to solving equations. There are other issues, if you have x in the denominator, if you have multiple x values, if you have x's to different powers, those things are all different obstacles to you isolating x. Multiple variables are a little bit different. We could do that too. Whatever you're into or not into, because it's hard and you want to get more into it. So we should be arming the military with calculators and teach them algebra so they can get rid of the radicals. Yes, they haven't tried that yet.
No, dude, you gotta take a radical and you gotta square them. You gotta make them square. And then they'll cease being radicals.
That's not a bad idea.
Okay.
We need more radicals. That's how we get
Now
them. We need to isolate the radicals.
I had a moment. I'm good now.
You have that moment?
Okay. SAT versus ACT. Green Sun. Yes, math is red. Green Sun, that is, someone answered you about the difference between the SAT and ACT, and I hope you know they were kidding when they said that. Although, shout out Stealthy Sumo, I thought it was clever. I thought it was a little bit witty. It was a good dad joke. You're on your way. Okay.
Make
good.
sure
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not pregnant.
Okay. The SAT versus the ACT generally cover the same topics. There's a little bit where the ACT covers a couple of different topics in math, but if you were to do a Venn diagram, almost everything is the same. The difference is how they test. So for the math section of the ACT, it is all one section. It's 60 questions, and it's pretty fast-paced. The SAT is split into two parts. You have the non-calculator and then the calculator section. It ends up being 58 questions, so pretty much the same thing. The non-calculator section actually tends to be a little bit faster paced than the calculator section. That's all right. It's not that big of a deal. It's still pretty similar. The SAT has the last 5 questions on the non-calculator and the last 8 questions on the calculator section that are fill in the blank. So you don't get to guess A through D. You have to fill out the Scantron form and write out an actual value. So you have to have just found the right answer. There's not really any luck guessing. With the English and writing and grammar sections, they're pretty much the same. They might have 1 or 2 different types of questions. Like the SAT, you'll see sentence combination questions more. They're a little more common. And they might not be on the ACT at all, or if they are, they're very rare.
What is the ACT?
Sentence combination?
No.
Okay, just SAT. And the SAT only has 44 questions for grammar, and the ACT has 75, which is a lot. So it kind of depends there. The ACT generally is much faster paced than the SAT. The SAT tends to be a little bit more complicated because they give you more time. It doesn't necessarily mean it's more difficult. It's just that the questions are not as straightforward. The ACT is testing how quick you are and how good your grasp is when you're doing very quick questions. What else? The reading section we said is a little bit more difficult on the SAT. I would say that's fairly generalized. Some students do better on the SAT versus the ACT. They're making your classmates take the ACT on the computer. That is not fun. Also, congrats, Purvis.
Purvis?
Yeah, their class rank went up. Congrats. And then the ACT has a science section, which is really, it's about reading graphs. There's not much science involved. It sounds like they make it seem like you need to know science, and really you don't. There's a couple of outside knowledge questions, so there are a couple of things you need to know, like gravity and the boiling point of water in Celsius, and the freezing point of water in Celsius, and maybe how to balance a chemical equation. But for the most part, you just have to read a question and look at the graph they have for that question. So it's very misleading, to say the least. And the SAT doesn't have that at all, but they have some graphs spread out through a couple of their different sections. It's kind of an advantage if we do the writing test. I don't know. Oh, if you mean the essay on there, Storm, because you can type faster than you can write. Yes, it could be an advantage for that. That's a pretty good summary of the differences. I don't think I left anything out, anything major. Even though I would say personally the SAT reading is more challenging than the ACT. I have students. I actually have a student right now. She's better at the SAT. It's just how it works, right? Each student is different, and so ideally, because there's lots of free tests out there that are actually the official tests that are free and available, you can take those and see, okay, well, I do way better on this test, or I do way better on this test, and then go from there. Control F to search for keywords. Is that still a thing on a test if you're doing it on the computer?
I seriously doubt it.
There's no way they would let that fall through.
No, because it's probably just a PDF of whatever.
You can search through a PDF though.
They're gonna slowly convert classes or ACT and SAT to computer tests.
Right, but I'm saying, could you still use the built-in functionality of most computers, which is Control F, to find? Because that is...
It's probably an application that they open up.
Application specific, they might not allow for it. Hopefully, they don't allow for it. If anybody knows anybody who has that decision
they
make...
don't allow for it.
Really, though? They made some blunders. They made some big mistakes, man.
Blund words.
It's probably on an app. Yeah, most likely...
Blund their words.
hopefully they don't allow you to do that. Hopefully they didn't build it in, and if it's something that it comes built in, they disabled it. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot more controversy because they didn't need any more of that. SAT and ACT only indicates how good one is on an institutional construct. I don't disagree. I.e., it really does not rank in the real world. I agree. Thanks, Banjo. Banjo Bob's not wrong. That made me think of Bongo Bob, which is a throwback to Stanford.
It's like Banjo Bob.
Well, or like Banjo Kazooie. But yeah, for anyone taking the SAT and ACT, we do this to help you guys out because lots of people put a lot of stress into this, and a lot of people get a lot of anxiety for this. But it does not control or dictate your life. It doesn't say whether or not you're going to be X, Y, or Z when you grow up or whatnot. It is not the end of the world. Only America does it. It's not. It
has a lot to do with our
there's an ACT
lives.
on Saturday. Plugging around. Yeah, nice, Purvis.
Great idea, Purvis.
Isn't SAT more East or West Coast and ACT is more Midwest? Yes and no.
Historically, yeah.
I mean, it used to be, and it's kind of changing, Stealthy.
Yeah, I'll handle this. No and yes. It's
I will
changing
cough on
less
you.
than
I'm sick.
before.
You want me to get you sick? I'll just cough.
I don't want you to do that.
Well, then, okay, cool,
Okay.
thanks. But yes, Storm, there is. Now, the SAT used to be very much the coasts. That's where this guy's from. He's from the coasts.
I'm from both of them.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's more like they had to do a whole what do you call that? Not a remapping. Like a reskin of you guys all do games, you get it. They do a reskin because they were trying to focus and say we are the test for elites. So only people who want to go to these elite institutions use us because we're better. And then they realized, oh, most people don't go there. So we're losing money. There's a bigger market over there. So they tried to reskin and say, well, we're for everybody now. And then it's
Why not respawn, my lord?
that's after you die and come back.
Yes, my lord.
Lots of people migrated to the ACT because of the SAT curves.
Yeah, the SAT curves have been pretty bad recently.
They've
Although
been very questionable.
questionable. There have been many questions. We've asked them a lot, and they've told us all the answers, and we're not going to tell you any of them.
No, we don't
Right?
know anybody.
We don't know anything better than you about that type of thing because they play it very close to the chest.
Yep. That means close to their heart, guys. It's like
Yeah.
a secret.
The big heart of giant corporations.
So
Yeah.
the bank,
Right.
money bags,
Right. That one big one.
the one big bank. We're not. Yes. All right. Any other questions, guys, about the tests? Lots of people. Yeah. It can be about the test this Saturday. If you're taking it, say so. We have some tips for what you should do. SAT and ACT keep to their territory to keep their monopolies. I mean, definitely they are a duopoly, for sure.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Dude, come on. Didn't we all have to take Econ 1? No?
I did, but
I
I
did.
don't remember duopoly.
It's one of the few things I remember from it. What does the SAT and ACT stand for? ACT actually, I think, is just ACT. Hold on. Can I tell you that I don't know and I also just don't
I think
care?
SAT stands for Saturday.
Standardized
I think it's standardized or standard aptitude test.
Yeah, but I just don't like it.
I think ACT,
It used to, but it doesn't anymore. They just said it's American College Test. But I think they like got rid of it.
Do you all know what BPL stands for?
Is that what you had written there?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's
nice.
not.
Okay. No.
It
Good. Don't
stands
worry
for
about it.
Brendan's personal life. You should ask about it. If you're taking the SAT2s, there is an SAT2 on Brendan's personal life.
There's not.
I don't even know if they call them SAT2s anymore. They're subject tests.
Some people still do. I had a student ask about SAT1 the other day, and I'm like, oh, just that regular SAT.
Regular.
Green Sun, you can
should
Google it. I don't actually know because I just don't care enough. Like I tutor for it, but I don't need to know what they want to call themselves on the down low. Like
Oh, it's Scholastic Aptitude
There it
Test.
is.
That's what SAT stands for.
I don't know. There's some things I need to know for my job, and I just don't think that's one of them. In fact, I'm gonna forget that he said that. So next time someone asks, I can just say, it doesn't matter. Like I know how to make you score higher. Like it's
do
all
you know
just
what
a construct.
Green Sun
I
Wow
believe-
or
I agree
Green
with
Sun
Bonjo.
Ow stands for? Probably not. That's your name.
How much time do we get on the ACT on? Well, it's only SAT, and here I am furthering this lie. Shoot.
Keep furthering it.
Yeah.
Keep biggering and biggering.
Yep, biggering it. That's the word.
Yes.
Overwatch. Nice. I don't know enough about that to talk about it.
doubt it.
Sorry. If I placed a hue wall on this guy and moved it, would it affect the wind flow? Well, how big is Hugh? And who is Hugh? And why is he a wall?
His BPL is on the so there's an SAT subject test for BPL. Don't worry about
huge wall.
For the main SAT. No, BPL is not on that.
I mean, there's definitely a good chance it would affect the wind flow, right? You'd have to go around it, and then it would create eddies there as it goes. But I also don't know tons
The
about.
hue wall creates eddies.
Yeah, I also don't know tons about airflow because I did not major in that type of engineering.
In the
In
Windy
fact,
City, huh?
made sure not to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Brady.
It's very good.
Hey guys, it's Hugh Wall here. Yeah.
Hue wall making eddies in the Windy City.
Like, yeah.
What if I smashed that wall into dust? Like
chemtrails is the word he's saying. Same thing? Now you know.
Some Canadian federal department.
Defense. Where there's an eddy wall, would it make huge? Guys, I didn't make up the word. I don't know why they call it eddies. I don't know why they call it eddies, but it's little turbulence of winds. Like when it goes, like you should Google this or YouTube it because it's computational fluid dynamics. No, I didn't have to deal with that either, thankfully. But it's really cool looking when they have like a wind stream where you can actually like see the wind going, which is usually they do that underwater and they have like colored water that they're like blowing through like regular water, whatever. And you can see how it reacts on the outside, like around objects. It's really cool. That's how they do a lot of aerodynamic stuff. Aerodynamics and stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up the overlay and do some semicolon colon questions.
Wait,
Just a couple.
let them ask.
They can keep asking. I'm just gonna.
Guys,
pull it
please
up.
ask a question that's not about the semicolons and colons.
You
Please, you have
love
like
them.
10 seconds. I don't want Levi to succeed.
Oh yes.
In life generally, but also
Yeah.
with this specifically. Anything. Anything.
You should not have tied yourself to me economically if you don't want me to succeed. That was a huge mistake.
Green son, you're really not helping here. See, it's too late now. It was 10 seconds for me, but you guys are... I need it... yeah, rip me. Guys, come on. You still have time. How am I? Thanks. Go ahead and turn it off. Oh, wait. Comic Seraph. Good to see you back on.
Who?
What is
Oh,
the
Comic Seraph.
airspeed velocity of an unladen? That's an L. Okay.
Purvis.
Oh.
No, we have. Whoa. What's going on?
No, you don't?
You need a colonoscopy.
no,
You don't
no,
need
you
a
don't.
full colonoscopy. You maybe need a semi-colonoscopy. Let's do number 12.
I don't appreciate that.
Why don't you appreciate that one? That's not a bad one.
No, it wasn't at all. It was good.
Like, okay.
It was okay. It's a
Gulp.
bird.
Bird?
But isn't a swallow one of the fastest birds?
Wait, what did they ask?
Swallows?
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Aren't they
You
the...
ask them first, African or European. Trust me, it's from the movie.
Oh, African or European?
It's from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Good save.
Oh, okay.
Good save.
Because they are, like, aren't they one of the fastest birds?
Not as fast as a peregrine falcon.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
200 miles per hour. It made
Alright.
it much worse.
3
Weird.
questions. Fast. It is quite fast. Fast enough to where gravity is pulling it around, so it's not going down.
Anyway, we
So the
are
question
doing
is-
number 12, and I think
ahead and
it's
read that.
just the word shape and then this dash are underlined. Yeah.
What's the hardest test we've taken?
Life.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I know. It was a circuits class in college, and I walked in being like, I think I've prepared for this, and I walked out thinking, maybe I shouldn't do engineering.
You know the hardest test? Having to listen to Brendan say that when we're trying to teach them stuff.
They're asking legitimate. I'm teaching them that EE is not for you unless you really want to do EE.
Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
I mean, it's,
We are doing number 12. We've done 1 through 11, maybe, and now we're saying, okay, number 12, we got a comma, we have a semicolon, we have a colon. So
Electrical
we're going to
engineering.
have to figure out independent clauses. So let's identify those. Before this thing, so all of these are identical. F, G, and H, and J all have shape and then a piece of punctuation. So let's read what happens before it, because we know it's semicolons and colons. We need an independent clause beforehand. We have, although these snowflakes appear to have to have a triangular shape. No, Brady.
What?
Although these snowflakes appear to have a triangular shape, is that an independent clause?
No, it is not, because the word although.
Right, because of the word although. So this word although screws
like
it up.
this when you're
This
done with
is
this.
actually a dependent clause because it depends on something else. We need something else, which means that we cannot have, what is it, H and J. H is wrong, J is wrong. Now we're left with a comma or a dash. Dashes are used for separating independent clauses from some non-essential element, and then a positive, which means that one of those things doesn't matter. We can take it away, and the sentence still works, and we haven't lost a lot of context. So let's try the dash. Dashes are easier than commas. So if we get rid of one of these sides, now we only have one dash, so that's important. If you have two dashes, you know the non-essential is between them. We only have one, so the non-essential has to be before it or after it. We got to figure out which. Generally, it means that it's going to be afterwards. So, and we can't, if we take out beforehand, and they actually have a hexagonal pattern. Fine, but we've lost too much context. They actually have a hexagonal pattern versus what? We don't know. It's got to be coming from this first part of the sentence. So the first part is essential. And then if we take out the second part, we already know we don't have an independent clause, and we need one to have a sentence. So therefore, the dash doesn't work. We don't have a non-essential phrase in this sentence. So that leaves us with G. So F is wrong. This is why I like proving 3 wrong. It requires you to fully understand why you use every piece of punctuation, and it allows you to, it helps you get better and better and quicker at identifying mistakes in each answer choice. Now, G, what kind of comma is this? This is a dependent clause, comma, independent clause. We have, although the snowflakes appear to have a triangular shape, comma, they actually have a hexagonal pattern. So the second part...
Independent.
Independent, yes. So dependent, comma, independent. Now, if you switch it, so this is like saying, if we write, let's see, while, can you read that? Yeah. While I walk,
Through the valley of the shadow of death.
comma, I whistle. I whistle. This is fine. Our independent clause is here, right? I whistle. That's all you need. This is the dependent clause. If you were to take away the while, because that's our thing that makes it the dependent clause, it's a dependent clause marker, we have I walk, which is an independent clause, but we have this thing to mean that it depends on this. Now, if we were to invert this, we would have I whistle.
Storm, first of all, it's comma fanboys, and that is to separate 2 independent clauses.
Yes. I whistle while I walk. We don't need a comma here because the point of punctuation is to demonstrate to the reader what's going on and allow them to parse apart your sentence. And your independent clause is the kernel of that sentence. So here, we have it here, and here we have it at the beginning. If we have it at the beginning, the word while demonstrates to the reader that we've moved on. So I whistle while, okay, and then we know we're moving on to a separate idea that then qualifies this one. But here we have while I walk, I whistle. And we need to take that pause or show the reader that there's a pause here so we can know we're moving on to something else. That's why this one is technically inverted, the top one, and that's why you need the comma before the independent clause. So this is one of the types of comma uses, which is dependent clause, comma, independent clause.
No, Banjo. Those are 2 independent clauses, and so you would need to have... What?
Good.
Oh,
yeah, good.
sorry. Yeah. So you would need to have some way to join them, and a comma is not correct. You could have a comma and then a fanboy, which is it's poetry.
If it's poetry, they should be on
Probably.
different lines, and it should be a slash to indicate the line change.
Different stanzas. No, a stanza is a whole section, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so what you might like, my sister tagged me in something, I don't know, but it's about the Office musical that's going on in New York right now.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh, hey, like, we can win tickets to go see this, or like something like that. And I'm like, or she said something like, you should go see it. Whatever, I don't know. Funny thing is, I have a friend who's actually acting in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you about that.
We went to their party.
Yeah. Ani. She's pretty dope. I think she's like a number of different characters. I think it's like they have a smaller cast and they each have a number of parts.
Yeah.
But she is Kelly Kapoor.
Yes.
I think that's the main. I think that's the one she has the most lines in. I could
Probably,
be wrong though. All right, guys. Any more questions? We have some minutes.
Yeah, multiple minutes.
Go ahead.
Would you guys ever do a fun stream where you play games?
I'm telling you, I would love to, but these guys are just
Boring humans.
What kind of games, Storm?
which is a lie for Brady. He has games.
Brady.
Yeah, I got games. I'll do that. I don't have the setup yet.
Brady's got games and I've got game, and Levi's just here. Yeah, it's false. But we can play rock paper scissors.
Simulated. Simulated. Simulated.
Yo, technology's getting pretty dope. Then, am I right?
Simulated.
Yeah, he's broken. We're gonna have to go repair him after this. You know what? I would like to. We could probably do that sometimes. Just, I'll knock him. Oh, no, not I'll. LOL, knock him. Yeah, usually if there's electronics, you kind of hit it to, hey, King Jason, see if it works. Hi, King Jason. Are
Yeah,
you
my lord.
new? I don't know,
Hi,
man.
my lord.
It's been a while. I'm sick right now. But, hey, King Jason, if you don't know, we do free SAT and ACT prep online.
For now. It's going away very soon.
Well, that's just because our stream ends in 5 minutes. But we're doing it all week, and we do it every week, 5 days a week. You're from Drumsy. Dope. Thanks for coming back on.
We're not from Drumsy. It's nice to meet you.
What do you guys do for a living? You're looking at it. We tutor for the SAT and ACT.
Yeah. Yeah, we just do this. We did that. We started this in the past.
Yeah.
In the past past participle. Nope. Yeah, past perfect.
Yeah.
We started this in the past perfect. We had started this when we first started streaming
Okay.
for the present,
gonna just
future,
keep-
participle. Just kind of doing words, man. What are you doing?
Brady, it's new what? New choice. New choice.
New choice.
New choice. Hey, what do we do for? Oh, that's South.
What do you guys start tutoring instead of going into a career? Why? Haha. Because it is a career, or it can be
Ow.
a career. And also because I didn't want to sit in a cubicle and not be able to talk to people all day because... Why would I do that? The info is all below you if you want to read it. Thank you, Green.
No. Sometimes.
Well, hey, thanks, King Jason. I appreciate that.
Is that where we're doing it?
Is that why?
Where?
The intranets, but we're
Okay,
gonna
right.
let it go. Thanks, you too, Banjo. I'm hoping it's Banjo,
See,
but you know.
You're welcome. Also, we appreciate that you guys are watching us for free. Because if we didn't have that, then
We'd have to pay them
what
to
do we
watch
have?
us? Yeah, nah. Okay, good. It is Banjo. So there you go. Like Banjo Kazooie, or Banjo Tooie, or just the banjo, but not like Bongo Bob.
No. Okay.
Bongo Bob was a guy from college.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching us for free. We know that people don't normally do that on our stream because we're not a
Thanks.
big streamer. Or we're not a streamer. We are a
Streamers. We're a channel.
We're a channel.
Channel is singular. Yeah. Also,
Channel
if you guys.
Sorry. We're reading the same books. It doesn't matter.
I get it. I get it. No, I'm out of it. Sorry. If you know people who could benefit from this, feel free to throw them our way. Or if you guys just want to chill and hang out, like we could also make this like informational. We give our lesson like we do every stream, and then kind of more of a just chatting hangout. Look, if you're going to try to make some bold statement about giving away shirts without charging much for it, like I can make a bold statement that we've kind of at least talked about.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is.
We
at least
have-
I'm prepared this time. I'm not going to be freaking out. No, I still feel a little unnerved. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
still
lie.
super
It's still a little
creepy.
creepy. I got goosebumps, man, and I knew it was coming.
Ew, you just hiccup in that mask and then burp.
I just hiccup. There was no burp. Lions do not burp. They merely hiccup.
Tiger Man.
Is it a tiger or a lion?
I think
Well, there's no
it's-
mane.
Right, but female lions
It's
don't
like
have manes.
definitely a large savannah cat, whatever it is.
I'm scared. You should be, because I am.
I think it'd be fun to put on some music and just kind of like dance around a little bit. Like that's my idea of a good stream.
Should make nerdish markers. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Have you seen Hot Rod?
Yes.
I see us as them dancing outside the van.
Kellen!
Hey, what's up, Kellen?
Kellen!
Get it, Mr. Discus. Thanks, man.
You mean like nerdish takes over the
I'm not
globe?
sure if I liked it. That's how they still refer to me or still know me. But well, I'll take it. I'll take it. Nerdish everything. Nerdish socks. That way you can walk all over us. That's right.
I have to watch this.
Yeah, is that
It
a
might
female?
be.
It could be.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't
Storm, it's just a mask.
But maybe my own hair is like the mane.
know.
So,
Look,
we also tutor for not free, and as soon as you
as soon as that happens, we're
put out
done.
naked videos, like, people don't... Your
Forget
parents
that?
don't like that. We tried it for a while.
Oh!
Hey!
Up.
Sapien
Oh my
I,
God.
welcome
Sapien
back.
I.
Also, thanks for the. Oh, he's keeping the mask on.
Well done, Sapien I! Well done!
Thanks, Sapien I. All right, sure, Kellen. Thanks. I'll just call you Soccer Dude then. Like, I don't know. Maybe I should just call you the Twin, right? Because you were twins. So, thanks, Twin. That's how they're gonna refer to me.
I don't remember this one. I remember the other one.
I don't think it was Kyle. I think Kevin was the one.
No.
Blinded with science. Blinded by the
Blinded
light.
me with science.
Rubbed up like a deuce. Another runner in the night.
Blinded me with science, though.
You guys should
blinded me
arm
with
wrestle.
Science.
Yes.
I don't
Brady
think
and
we
I
should.
should arm wrestle.
That would be a
Brandon's
competition.
Pinky.
Yes.
That's what we should do.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. We
Blinded
would definitely
me.
beat the
With
the-
science.
Two of you should win.
Yeah.
Although you haven't been able to go to the gym because your elbow's
Yeah.
jacked up.
Yeah.
So maybe not. That's all it's ever been. Callan, come on. I called you. I don't think. Maybe. I don't
That's
know.
okay. It doesn't matter.
We'll
Yeah,
agree
it
to
doesn't
Yeah,
disagree.
he's your friend, right, Bird?
Not to ruin the mood, but isn't it 9:30? Yeah, pretty much. So I'm gonna go probably pass out because I'm sick and I have to wake up early tomorrow.
Oh no.
Um,
did?
but first I'm gonna have some OJ because
Yeah, that
I
gets
need
you.
that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
else?
it's
Also,
just
Kellen, thanks for stopping by. I
9:30.
appreciate it. The rest of you guys, also, thanks for stopping by. If you guys are free, we're here every night this week.
Every night.
Every night. Study Orgo 2.
Oh,
We do
Sapien
have biology and chemistry teachers.
Sapien
Organic
I.
chemistry. So you let us know if you need some help.
Sapien I, you need to do some science practicing. DM us for some more instructions. We can give you some things to do.
Yeah,
DM
you can also
Brand-
use our
DM
website.
Brandon.
You can also
Brandon
use
will
our
help you.
website to take a practice test and see what your issues are. That's
Yes.
all free as well.
Very good.
All right.
All right.
You know what we should do?
We should, Storm. We should. But see you guys.
Oh, I have a good idea. Good night, everybody.